So far, we've gotten quite comfortable with MidJourney. We've typed in a prompt, hit generate, and gotten some pretty cool images. But let's be honest, do you really think you're in complete control of what images you get from MidJourney? No, right? Well, that's because we've been using basic prompts. Today, we are going to delve into advanced prompting for MidJourney. By the end of this chapter, you'll know how to direct MidJourney like a cinematographer, not like a random AI user. So why wait? Let's get into it. Alright, let's talk about the tools that actually give you control over your AI generated images. These are the settings that separate random AI art from intentional storytelling. First up, aspect ratio. This is the foundation of cinematic framing. Now let's type in our prompt, a medieval castle, okay? And I'm going to put in the aspect ratio code, which is dash dash AR. Now I'm going to do it in the standard widescreen format, which is 16:9. And let's try this. Now another way to adjust the aspect ratio is going into your settings. So to go to your settings, right next to the imagine bar is this settings icon. When you go in here, you will be able to see that it goes all the way from 1:2 all the way to anamorphic, which is 2:1, the exact opposite, which is the ultra wide cinematic look. Well, actually, anamorphic look is 2.39:1, but MidJourney doesn't give you that option. So we'll make do with what we have right now. So typing in 2:1. This is our medieval castle in a 16:9 aspect ratio. Okay. Different kinds of medieval castles. This I think is like Minecraft version. And then we have the aspect ratio of 2:1, which is a little more anamorphic. You see how the image is slightly more compressed, more wide. Now let's try another aspect ratio. Let's try the medieval castle in an aspect ratio of 4:3. Let's do one more in aspect ratio 9:16. This is your vertical format used for Instagram and YouTube shorts. All right, that's your aspect ratio. Now let's take a look at another interesting parameter. Stylization, which is dash dash S. Let's say a children's drawing of a happy family. And now I'm going to change the stylization. So think of stylization going from a range of 0 to 1000. Stylization 100 is the standard style. Now, the more you go down from 100, makes your image a little less, quote unquote, beautiful. And as the stylization increases to 1000, it makes your image hyper aesthetic. You can also go into the settings tool and slide the bar around to change the stylization. Let's do it with a stylized of 0, and then we're going to do a stylization of 100. Then we're going to do a stylization of 300. And let's do another one, which is stylization of 400. Let's do a stylization of 1000. Now let's look at Stylization 100, which is basically the standard output from MidJourney. This basically gives you a subtle and more realistic stylization value. And let's look at stylization of 0, which is this one. This looks very much like a children's drawing, but it's not necessarily aesthetic. Neither is this, neither is this. Now let's look at stylization of 300. This makes it look a little more nuanced. It goes a little beyond just a children's drawing, making it look a little more aesthetic. A really talented child to be making those with like oil strokes. Interesting. And then you have stylization of 400. More texture. What you can notice here is there's not much of a difference between stylization 300 and 400. We've kind of gotten like a similar image. But then when you go to a stylization of 1000, you have, this this is not a children's drawing at all. So how do you use stylization? If you want photorealism, you keep it to 100 to 300. Okay, lower stylization. And if you want dreamy, artistic, surreal aesthetics, then you go for a higher stylization value of 700 plus. All right, next up is quality. This is when you are trading speed for detail. And what you'll notice is that quality is not available in the settings bar. I'll type in a prompt, a graphite sketch of an oak tree. And I'm going to put in a quality of 1. This is the standard quality. Okay. And go. Yep, everything else remains the same. And then you have, let's try a quality of 2. Quality ranges from 0.5 all the way to 2. So essentially you have 0.5, 1, and 2. So let's see what a quality of 2 looks like versus the lowest quality value, which is 0.5. So this is your 0.5 quality. Not really seeing any detail on the leaves at all. Yeah. And then we move to a quality of 2. Lots and lots of detail. Lots of detail within the kind of strokes that are there. See, there's like literally no detail here. Now, let's look at another parameter, chaos or variety. This is used to add more variation to your image results. By default, chaos or variety is set to 0. If you want each image to look a little more different, increase the chaos level. You can set the chaos value anywhere between 0 and 100. But keep in mind that higher values mean that images will be quite different and may not stick as closely to your prompt, giving unpredictable results. So the code for chaos is --c, and here we are putting it at a value of 50. Then we'll put it at a value of 100. And let's just add another chaos parameter at 10. All right, let's check out the images. There we have it. 4 images for chaos value of 0. And the images up here are chaos value 50. And oh my god, chaos values of 100. And then the last prompt, which was chaos values of 10. As you can see, as we go up on chaos, the images completely change. Chaos 10 gives you enough variety to the image, but each image is not too far away. At Chaos 100, we are looking at not even a woman in a red kimono. This is at Chaos 50, no red kimono. Nope, not at all a red kimono. This is normal chaos. Over here, I don't know what was happening with the kimono there, but yeah. Now you see the difference. By using chaos values, you get a variety of images. You can use this to experiment and try out different ideas. Maybe you want to use chaos to see how your character might look, what kind of a house a character lives in. Now let's look at how to highlight important elements in your creations by using multi-prompts and weights. Think of multi-prompts like giving separate instructions to make a single creative recipe. When you use a multi-prompt, you're telling MidJourney to take each idea you've given and think of them separately before combining them into one image. This gives you the power to create something unique and surprising by blending different concepts together. So, to use multi-prompts, you add a double colon between the different ideas in your prompt. This acts like a divider. For example, if I type in German Shepherd versus if I type in German double colon Shepherd, I will get completely different results. Let's check them out. This is what I get when I type German double colon Shepherd. By the use of the double colon, MidJourney considers Shepherd and German separately, while here MidJourney takes German and Shepherd as one idea or entity and gives me the dog. The no command. This is how you tell MidJourney what you don't want in your image. It's like making a no entry list for certain things you don't want to see. This helps MidJourney understand exactly what to leave out, so your image stays focused on what you do want. You can even list multiple elements by separating them with commas. Now let's say we want to use the no command. Let's type in a fruit bowl dash dash no. And for some reason, we don't want to see any bananas or apples. Okay? And there we are. We've got fruit bowls with no bananas and no apples. Well, this might be an apple, I'm not sure. But more or less, no bananas, no apples. Alright, let's talk about weirdness. Weird is a parameter which makes your images quirky and unconventional. Now let's try it out. A cinematic still of a bird sitting on a tree peacefully, dash dash W, which stands for weird, 0. By default, the weirdness setting is set to 0. Now we'll try another one with W 100. And now we'll try one with weirdness of 500 and 1000. Let's try 2000 and the highest weirdness value of 3000. So weird is a fun tool that spices up your images by adding a touch of unusual or strange. When you use it, you're telling MidJourney to take some creative risks. Let's check out the images. This is at weird 0, which is a bird on a tree. The bird is sitting normally on a normal tree, on this branch, on this bark, on another branch, and on a branch. This is weird 100, where you see the image is not conventional. The branch is not conventional. The bird's sitting position is not conventional. This is giving you a slightly more weirder option for the bird to sit on. The positioning of the tree, the framing, the position of the bird, the kind of branch that it's sitting on is getting more and more unconventional. You can see that, right? No, he's not even sitting on a branch on that one. This is at weird 3000, where you're seeing a different kind of tree with a little bit of red sap coming through. And a different kind of bird. Now let's tweak this prompt a little bit. Instead of a cinematic still, we are going to go a little different. Let's try a pop art painting of a bird on a tree. Peacefully with weird 0. With weird 100. With weird 500. 1500. 2000. 2500. And finally weird 3000. So this is what we had earlier. And here's the version of the pop art. This is with weird 0. Quite nice. Very cool. I like that too. Interesting. This is weird 0. As you go higher with the weirdness level, you get a little more interesting images. Stained glass painting. This is like a Photoshop filter. Yep. This we are looking at weird 1000 and now 2000. Getting more and more interesting sort of imagery for the same prompt. This is weird 2500. I really like that image. I like this image too. Weird 2500. And then we go into weird 3000, which is the highest weird level. You get some really interesting images. So the weird parameter is actually extremely powerful. It helps you generate images and brainstorm creative ideas at a click of a button. And you might just get some really impressive results, which you can then build on top of.